Success is boring. And yes, this is my mentor told me that whenever we are walking on a path, after a certain while, we start getting bored. But the reality is, the basic and the foundations that are very, very important and essential for our business, they are responsible for our growth. For example, in insurance business, our key role of for getting results is meeting people, right? So on an average, if a person decides, even right now, today I am recording this in the month of Feb and today is 29th, we have one full month in the month of March. And if you decide across, even in whichever month you are at, if you decide to just go for 3 meetings a day, that means in 30 days we are all in a position to do 90 meetings. Now imagine if you are in a focus area of meeting out 90 one-to-ones, what is the kind of conversion that you can think of? Can you think of 10% conversion? But can you think of 20% conversion? What is the conversion ratio that you want? Just think about it. And practically, yes, it's very boring every day to start taking new names, every day to start writing out, calling out people, meeting them. At the same point of time, listening to rejections, it is boring. Yes, it is boring. But at the end of the day, imagine if you are in a position to kick out yourself with this just for 190 days, for 130 days, 90 appointments, appointments per day. Imagine what difference can it happen to your bank balance. Now when it comes to taking new names, one of the habits that successful people have been doing is, if you are doing online, lovely, it's just fantastic because that makes your life very, very easy, which I teach in my workshop. But if you're doing offline, then just start taking 3 new names from each and every person that you meet. Now while taking new names, a lot of people hesitate because nobody wants to give their references. So how do you take the best references? Ask them. You are doing a special project on financial awareness, and I would like to interview them to understand what is it that they expect from their savings and investment. For that, I have been given a target to meet at least 100 people just for a open question answer. If you can help me out to complete my project. जब हम प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में बात करते हैं, as soon as you start taking this name of a project, you will see altogether a new thing happening. The people are ready to help you for any person who's doing some kind of a research or a study or survey. Now, some may give, some may not give, and that's perfectly fine. But imagine to the person whom you are meeting, and if you are in a position to take just 3 names from everyone, you have a position to get 10 new names on everyday basis. Now, how do you give a call? The answer is the same. Again, it's boring, but it is critical for our success. So the first I told you, that is to take names. Second is to give them a call to do an appointment. How do you how do you call to people to do appointments? Simple. Whatever the names that you have got, any of the numbers that you have got from your reference, then just give a call and say, I have been your name has been referred by so and so person. I'm doing a special project on financial planning, and whereby I've been asked to meet people and just take their opinion about what are their expectations out of their savings and investment. Just be open to them, open for conversation. And I'll tell you, when the back of the mind one thing is there, sales, relieve that particular pressure and just try to go and learn from them. There's a very famous proverb which talks about, meet people, love them, learn from them, and build on what they have. Again, let me repeat: meet people, love them, learn from them, and build on what they have. And once you just go and interact people with an open mindedness, that what is it that you expect out of your savings, what is it that you expect out of your current investments, what is it that you want in your future planning. Once you already start with these kind of questions, the client himself starts to communicate at the best level. So these are some of the techniques whereby you start with it. Once you complete your questionnaire, okay, once you complete the questionnaire, the next happens, that is, how do you practically start the call? Again, it's very boring. I know a lot of people have have to think a lot to start a call. Now, once you have already identified the gap areas, and if you can just bridge the gap, already opening has done. So for example, after taking this entire question answers, and after that you say, what if this kind of gap that you have mentioned can be filled? Would you be interested to discuss more about this? And if he says yes, that means you are easy to go to start and open your conversation for a product pitch. If you have done your homework and you know what kind of a product or what kind of a solution can bridge this gap. So number one, take the name. Number two, give them the take the appointment by filling up the reference point of the reference that you have got. At the same point of time, ask about doing a project. Third is giving a presentation. And how do you bridge the gap? By saying that, okay, if the solution can be created which can really help you the way that you want, would you be interested to listen more about this? If he says yes, it's an open pitch for our business. But then it comes next is, how do I do the closing? Again, most of our advisors, they get stuck because they feel, how do I go and how do I just ask for closing? I had gone for a project, now you are asking to do a close. That means, what will the client think? Will he think? All these kind of chattering will happen in the mind. End of the day, remember, when we are doing sales, it is not just a one-time transaction or it's just a one-type transaction. Everybody is aware that there is a requirement and there is somebody to fulfill that requirement. We are helping the client to get that particular solution which he wanted. So in fact, it is serving to him for his own dreams and expectation. So now, how do I close it? Okay, how do I close it? So after that, the solution has been discussed. Now you ask the client, does this practically solve your problem which you had already described? If he says yes, fantastic. Thank you so much for helping me to get the right solution. Now, the next step is to practically start taking the action step forward of closing. So, while closing, do not hesitate, just give a very simple way. I have a separate module on closing. You can get in touch with my team to understand more about this. But end of the day, once the solution is being got, the next question is, now since you have already got the solution what you really wanted, let's take a step forward and sign up for an action. Because when you sign up, it becomes into a commitment. Now, when you just try to do with 90 people, by worst of work scenario, you are in a position to close out with 9. Now, somebody will say, Amit, I have not been doing 90 at all. If I do 50, then imagine the 10% is even 5. And if your average case size is 50,000 rupees, still you are closing 2.5 lakh of business, and still it works out to be the best one. And again, after you close, thank you so much. Give me 3 names. If ever he says, no, sorry, I do not wish to get closed right now, fine, no problem. Can you help me out with 3 more names? Because this is a special project where I want to give an awareness to the entire world. Now imagine, my dear friends, if you take this particular technique, it is a boring technique, but if you remember that if you do 3 names every day for the next 365 days, you will be having more than 1,000 names with you where you can approach to people. Second thing, even though after approaching you have a reason to go and find it out the project. So if you go for a project, you will at least come to know what are the expectations of the client, so that your presentation can become more sharper. Once you understand how to bridge the gap, if it is a boring task, but again, when you do it for 1,000 times, you become master to it. So how do you become a master? Is by repeating the same thing. That is why it is said, repeating is the mother of sales. Repetition is the mother of sales. Once you do it regular basis, it becomes like a habit. You don't have to practically think about it. Ensure that you practice this particular thing right from today onwards, and write down in the comment box what is the plan that you have for the month of March. See you then. Bye bye. All the best. God bless.